The drones were flying unusually low, and in some instances, they appeared to be operating as a coordinated group, moving in close proximity to one another, weaving past and alongside each other before continuing their unexplained activities. At present, it remains unknown whether these objects are emitting any form of energy. The world was abuzz with intrigue and speculation when breaking news footage began spreading rapidly across major media platforms. Unidentified flying objects, specifically drones, had been spotted in the skies above New Jersey and New York, igniting both fascination and apprehension. The footage, undeniably clear, showcased erratic movements, radiant patterns, and aerial maneuvers that defied conventional understanding of technology. Given the timing and the proximity to such densely populated areas, the sightings captured international attention. Naturally, it became a topic that Joe Rogan couldn't ignore. John Ferguson, the CEO of a Kansas-based remote aircraft system company, shared his perspective in an in-depth on his video. He speculated that the drones could be attempting to detect potential hazards such as gas leaks, radioactive materials, or other substances. Ferguson remarked, "The only reason to fly an unmanned aircraft at night is if you're searching for something." He clarified that he did not suspect any malicious intent behind the drones, emphasizing his belief that they were likely scanning the ground for specific dangers. Rogan, known for his openness to discussing extraterrestrial phenomena and cutting-edge technology, dissected the mystery in one of his recent podcasts. As the footage played on his show, Rogan's reaction was a blend of amazement and concern. "This isn't your typical drone technology," he said, leaning in closer to the screen. "Whatever this is, it's operating at a level we simply can't explain. It's as if these objects don't adhere to the laws of physics." Pausing to rewind the footage to a specific segment, Rogan highlighted a moment when the drone, or what appeared to be a drone, executed a sharp right-angle turn at an impossible speed. "Look at that," he exclaimed. "No sound, no propulsion trail, nothing. These things are completely silent and unimaginably fast. If this is human-made, whoever created it is functioning on a whole different plane. This is just my theory. They might be trying to detect something like a gas leak, radioactive material, or something similar," Ferguson explained in the video, citing his professional expertise. However, he acknowledged the speculative nature of his explanation. "I haven't shared this idea with anyone," he admitted, adding, "If you think it's nonsense, that's fine. I just don't want to contribute to misinformation, especially with so much of it already out there." Joe Rogan found Ferguson's theory intriguing and joined the conversation surrounding the mysterious drones. "This is the first video about these drones that has genuinely made me concerned," Rogan commented on X on Sunday. Besides Ferguson, several residents are now attempting to solve the mystery of the drones by floating multiple conspiracy theories online. A new Facebook page called New Jersey Mystery Drones has also popped up, with over 60,000 members joining it. Meanwhile, the government officials are trying to play down the potential threat. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that people were indeed seeing drones, but added that there was no indication of a public safety risk from these objects. Mayorkas added that some sightings might be misidentified, manned aircraft, or simply duplicate reports. The FBI, which has been investigating the situation, has found that most of the 5,000 tips it received about the sightings did not merit further investigation. Several politicians are also weighing in, calling for further investigation into the phenomena. New York Senator Chuck Schumer and some of his colleagues have called for enhanced radar technology to track the drones and greater transparency from federal agencies. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker has urged the FBI and FAA to take more decisive action. Previously, Rogan had criticized statements from the U.S. government, describing them as suspicious. This followed comments from National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby, who claimed the drones did not pose a threat to public safety and suggested many of the sightings were actually of manned aircraft. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas also attempted to ease concerns on Sunday, attributing the sightings to updated regulations that allow nighttime drone operations. "Some of these sightings are indeed drones," Mayorkas noted, while others are manned aircraft often mistaken for drones. "We also encountered duplicate reports." The discussion quickly pivoted to the implications of these sightings. Were the drones extraterrestrial probes, advanced military prototypes from a foreign nation, or perhaps clandestine technologies developed far beyond public knowledge? Rogan didn't mince words. Here's the thing, he stated. If this was just an isolated incident, I'd assume it's some experimental tech we're not privy to. But the fact that these sightings are happening over New York and New Jersey, two of the most heavily monitored areas in the world, raises questions. Why here? What are they observing? Rogan invited a guest, a former aerospace engineer with extensive experience in military-grade technology, to weigh in on the matter. The engineer, who requested anonymity, admitted to being equally perplexed. This isn't something you just whip up in a lab, the guest explained. The movements, the speed, the silence, it's light years ahead of anything I've encountered, even in classified projects. Rogan's audience, renowned for their interest in unconventional topics, flooded the live chat with theories. Some speculated the drones were extraterrestrial surveillance devices, while others believed they were secret government projects preparing for an undisclosed purpose. Maintaining his characteristic balance of skepticism and curiosity, Rogan added, "What's most unsettling is the lack of an official response. If the government knows what these are, they're not saying a word. If they don't know, that's even scarier." As the podcast progressed, Rogan delved into the history of UFO sightings and governmental secrecy. He referenced the Pentagon's recent acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, and declassified videos of Navy pilots encountering similarly inexplicable objects. "This isn't just some conspiracy theory anymore," he said. "The Pentagon has admitted they're baffled, and now we're seeing these things over major cities. It feels like the phenomenon is escalating." One chilling detail about the sightings in New Jersey and New York was the drones' behavior. Witnesses described the objects as seemingly observing their surroundings, hovering over certain areas for extended periods before vanishing without a trace. Some even reported that their electronic devices malfunctioned in the presence of the drones, adding an eerie layer to the mystery. Rogan speculated, if these things are studying us, what's their goal? Are they preparing for something, trying to communicate, or are we just part of some experiment? To broaden the discussion, Rogan brought in a journalist who had been investigating UFO sightings for over a decade. She revealed alarming trends in recent years. "This isn't an isolated event," she said. "We're seeing a consistent pattern of UFOs or advanced drones appearing near critical infrastructure, military bases, and now urban centers. It's as if they're mapping something, gathering data." Rogan was visibly frustrated. "What blows my mind," he said, "is how little attention this is getting. It's happening right in front of us, yet most people are too caught up in their daily lives to notice. Meanwhile, something extraordinary, or potentially dangerous, is unfolding in our skies." The conversation turned darker as Rogan and his guests discussed the potential for these drones to be used maliciously. If human-made, who controlled them, and for what purpose? "Imagine if these things were weaponized," Rogan said. "The way they move, the way they evade detection, it's like they're untouchable. If someone wanted to use these for harm, how could we possibly stop them?" Despite the fear and speculation, Rogan also expressed a sense of awe. What if this is the start of something monumental? These sightings could be the tip of the iceberg in understanding our place in the universe. Toward the end of the podcast, Rogan urged his listeners to remain informed and open-minded. "We can't dismiss this as just another strange story. Whether it's aliens, advanced tech, or something else entirely, we need to pay attention. The truth is out there, and it's up to us to find it." As the podcast concluded, one thing was clear. The footage of unidentified drones over New Jersey and New York had sparked a global conversation. While the mystery remained unresolved, the questions it raised were more critical than ever. What are these drones? Who or what is behind them? And most importantly, what does this mean for humanity's future? Rogan left his audience with a final thought. The universe is vast and full of mysteries. Maybe these drones are a reminder that we're not alone, or maybe they're a warning that we need to start paying attention. Either way, this story isn't over, it's just beginning. As footage of these unidentified flying drones continued to dominate public attention, discussions surrounding them became increasingly complex. Joe Rogan's podcast acted as a lens magnifying the incident and encouraging a global audience to confront profound questions. Were these sightings evidence of a technological evolution far beyond what has been disclosed, or were they part of the enduring puzzle of extraterrestrial existence? Following the release of the footage, reports from eyewitnesses poured in through social media and news outlets. Observers described strange formations of lights in the sky, eerie silence despite rapid movements, and objects behaving in ways that seemed impossible. A Hoboken resident recounted, "Around 9:30 p.m., I saw a series of bright orbs in the sky. They weren't planes or helicopters. They moved in sync, almost as if they were communicating." Such accounts lent credibility to the phenomenon, and Rogan emphasized their importance. "Eyewitness testimony is always subjective," he said on a subsequent podcast, "but when hundreds or thousands of people report the same thing and the footage backs them up, you have to take it seriously." The implications of these drones, whether human-made or alien, prompted Rogan to feature experts in aeronautics, physics, and UFO research. A retired Air Force pilot provided a unique perspective. "I've spent over 2 decades flying advanced aircraft," he said. "What's in this footage defies everything we understand. The G-forces involved in those maneuvers would be fatal to any human pilot. Even if remotely controlled, the precision is unlike anything I've ever seen." Rogan speculated about advanced AI potentially controlling the drones. If these are AI-driven, he pondered, who's behind them and why are they here? The prospect of autonomous machines far exceeding human capabilities unnerved listeners. Could this be a glimpse of the future of surveillance or warfare? The podcast also delved into the broader implications of alien life. If these drones weren't human, what would that mean for humanity? Rogan suggested that first contact could either usher in an era of unprecedented knowledge or lead to catastrophic consequences. "History shows us that when an advanced civilization meets a less advanced one, it rarely ends well for the latter," he said. The conversation shifted to government secrecy. "The Pentagon has a history of keeping UFO information under wraps," Rogan noted. "If they know what these are, they're not telling us. And if they don't know, they're scrambling to figure it out. Either way, it's unsettling." New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced that a drone detection system would be sent to the state, adding that local authorities should have more power to deal with the issue directly. Mayor Michael Mellum of Belleville, New Jersey, have expressed worry that the drones could be carrying dangerous payloads. Local emergency services have even been instructed to wear hazmat suits around any fallen drones, unsure of the risks they may pose. To shed light on the matter, Rogan featured a whistleblower who claimed to have worked on classified reverse engineering projects. "The technology in these drones matches what I've seen in labs," the whistleblower revealed. "Gravity manipulating propulsion, ultra-durable materials, and AI operating on a level we can't comprehend." The audience was captivated, but questions lingered. Why hasn't this tech been disclosed? Rogan asked. The whistleblower warned, the potential for misuse is astronomical. Imagine this technology in the wrong hands. Here is the content rewritten in paragraph form with the same meaning and approximate length. Rogan turned his focus to the cultural and philosophical implications of these sightings, pondering how society would react to definitive proof of extraterrestrial life or advanced technology beyond human understanding. Would such a revelation unite humanity in awe and curiosity, or would it sow division and fear? "I think it would force us to rethink everything," Rogan mused. "Our religions, our science, our place in the universe. It would all be up for debate." The discussion delved into one particularly intriguing angle: the drones' apparent interest in urban areas. Why New Jersey and New York? Rogan and his guests speculated that these locations might hold strategic or symbolic significance. Could the drones be studying human behavior in densely populated environments? Or were they drawn to the region's infrastructure, such as power plants, communication hubs, or transportation networks? The possibility that the drones were conducting reconnaissance added a new layer of unease to the mystery. As the footage continued to be analyzed, skeptics attempted to debunk the sightings, claiming they were either elaborate hoaxes or misidentified commercial drones. Rogan, however, dismissed these explanations as overly simplistic. "Look, I'm all for skepticism," he said. "But when you've got multiple angles, radar data, and eyewitness accounts all lining up, it's not just a weather balloon or a prank. There's something real here." And the podcast also explored the role of social media in amplifying these events. Platforms like Twitter and TikTok were flooded with videos, theories, and memes about the drones. While this democratization of information allowed more people to engage with the mystery, it also led to the spread of misinformation. Rogan urged his audience to approach the topic critically, relying on credible sources and expert analysis. "The truth is out there," he said, "but it's up to us to separate fact from fiction." As the episode neared its conclusion, Rogan reflected on the broader significance of the sightings. "Whether these drones are human-made or not, they're a wake-up call," he said. "They remind us that there's so much we don't know, so much we haven't discovered, and maybe that's the most exciting and terrifying thing of all. But the story didn't end there. In the weeks following the podcast, new developments continued to emerge. Additional footage of the drones surfaced, showing them performing even more baffling maneuvers. Scientists and researchers began publishing papers speculating about the drones' propulsion systems and potential origins. The public's fascination only grew, with more people than ever turning their eyes to the skies. For Rogan and his listeners, the New Jersey and New York sightings were more than just a viral news story. They were a catalyst for deeper inquiry into the unknown. As Rogan put it, if we're not asking questions, we're not paying attention. And right now, we need to be paying attention more than ever. In the aftermath of the initial revelations about the unknown drones over New Jersey and New York, the global discourse evolved into a feverish blend of scientific inquiry, philosophical debate, and societal reflection. Joe Rogan's platform became a critical space for these discussions, bringing together experts, theorists, and skeptics to explore the implications. While the footage itself continued to undergo rigorous analysis, the conversation shifted toward understanding what these phenomena might mean for humanity's future. Rogan's subsequent episodes took on a more urgent tone, questioning not just the identity or origin of these drones, but also what their presence signified about the state of the world. Today, we live in an era where technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate, Rogan stated in one episode. The lines between human innovation and something otherworldly are getting blurrier, and that's a scary thought, because it means we might not be ready to deal with what's coming. As the discussions continued, more scientists and researchers joined the conversation, offering a variety of perspectives. One of the most compelling points raised involved the nature of the drones' flight patterns and behaviors. The objects exhibited movements that defied known principles of aerodynamics, such as sharp, instantaneous turns and accelerations that would generate forces beyond the capabilities of any human pilot or conventional aircraft. This led to a growing consensus among experts. Whatever these drones are, they represent technology far beyond what is currently available to the general public. Dr. Maria Enel, an aerospace engineer, explained the significance of these anomalies on Rogan's podcast. The maneuvers these drones are capable of would require a propulsion system that we haven't even conceptualized yet, she said. If this is human-made technology, then it's coming from a black project that's light years ahead of anything we've seen. If it's not human-made, then we're looking at something entirely unprecedented. The possibility of non-human origins naturally led to broader philosophical questions. Rogan began inviting not just scientists, but also philosophers and theologians to weigh in on what it would mean if these drones were extraterrestrial. Would humanity be able to handle the psychological and existential implications of confirming alien life? Would governments and institutions be willing to share the truth with the public? These questions led to heated debates on Rogan's platform. Dr. Ian Fitzgerald, a historian specializing in the cultural impact of scientific discoveries, argued that humanity has faced paradigm-shifting events before and survived. The discovery of heliocentrism, the theory of evolution, to the splitting of the atom, each of these moments forced us to redefine our place in the universe, he said. This could be the next great leap in our understanding of existence. However, not everyone shared this optimistic view. Dr. Susan Hargrove, a psychologist, warned of the potential for societal upheaval. The confirmation of advanced extraterrestrial life could destabilize religious beliefs, political systems, and even our sense of self, she explained. For many people, it would be profoundly unsettling to realize that we're not the pinnacle of intelligence in the universe. Rogan himself seemed torn between excitement and apprehension. On one hand, the idea of discovering alien life was thrilling. On the other, the secrecy surrounding these drones, whether from governments or other entities, was deeply concerning. If they're keeping this kind of technology from us, what else aren't they telling us? He asked. And if they don't know what these things are, then who does? Either way, it feels like someone's not being straight with us. This theme of secrecy became a recurring topic in Rogan's discussions. He frequently criticized governments and military organizations for their lack of transparency regarding UFO sightings and other unexplained phenomena. We've seen this before with things like Project Blue Book and the Pentagon's UAP reports, Rogan said. They give us just enough information to keep us curious, but not enough to really understand what's going on. This skepticism was shared by many of Rogan's guests, including investigative journalists and former government insiders. One particularly striking revelation came from a journalist who claimed to have obtained classified documents suggesting that the U.S. government had been aware of similar drones for decades. These aren't new, the journalist said. They've been showing up in restricted airspace around nuclear facilities and even near military exercises. The government's been studying them, but they haven't been able to figure out what they are. Or if they have, they're not telling us. The mention of nuclear facilities added a chilling layer to the story. Historically, UFOs and other unidentified objects have been reported near sites of strategic importance, such as power plants and missile silos. Could the drones over New Jersey and New York be exhibiting similar patterns of behavior? And if so, what does that say about their intentions? Some experts suggested that the drones might be conducting surveillance, either by an advanced foreign adversary or an extraterrestrial intelligence. Others speculated that the drones could be a form of communication, a way for their operators to observe humanity and gauge reactions without direct contact. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so already, said Dr. NL. The fact that they haven't suggests a level of restraint or perhaps even curiosity. This idea of curiosity resonated with Rogan, who has long been fascinated by the concept of alien observation. What if they're studying us like we study animals in the wild? He asked. Maybe they're trying to understand us before they make contact, or maybe they're waiting for us to reach a certain level of development. As the podcast episodes unfolded, Rogan also delved into the ethical implications of humanity's response to these phenomena. Would humanity's first instinct be to treat the drones as a threat and attempt to destroy them, or would we approach them with an open mind, seeking to learn and understand? We have a history of reacting to the unknown with fear and aggression, Rogan said. But if this really is something extraterrestrial, we need to be better than that. The cultural impact of the drone sightings extended beyond Rogan's podcast. Artists, filmmakers, and writers began incorporating the mystery into their work, creating a wave of new media inspired by the events. Social media platforms became hotbeds of speculation, with users sharing theories ranging from the plausible to the fantastical. Memes about the drones went viral, turning a deeply serious subject into a source of humor and intrigue. Despite the flood of speculation, many questions remained unanswered. What are these drones? Who or what is controlling them? And why have they chosen now to reveal themselves in such a dramatic fashion? Rogan's podcast may not have provided definitive answers, but it succeeded in bringing these questions to the forefront of public consciousness. In one of his final episodes on the topic, Rogan reflected on the broader significance of the sightings. At the end of the day, this isn't just about UFOs or drones or aliens, he said. It's about us, it's about how we respond to the unknown, how we handle the possibility that we're not alone in the universe. And I think that's a question worth asking. The story of the drones over New Jersey and New York is far from over. As new footage emerges and investigations continue, the world will be watching and questioning what these mysterious objects mean for our understanding of reality. And thanks to voices like Joe Rogan, the conversation will remain alive, challenging us to confront the unknown with curiosity, skepticism, and an open